put us into live stream?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, welcome everyone. Tara, you have roll call. Do we have any media on today? I don't see anyone.
Not at the moment.
Okay. And can I call for approval of the April 21st minutes? I need a mover and a seconder, please. Anyone to move? Brad? And a seconder for the minutes? Richard? If everyone's had a chance to review and all in favor? And minutes carried. Now there was some information that went out with regards to declaration of pecuniary interests. Was there anyone that currently had a declaration?
I have a
Joe?
declaration.
Joe,
Okay,
you're
Brad,
on.
go ahead. Okay, so Brad did submit his declaration, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and Joe, your hand was up. You also have a declaration?
Yeah, anything dealing with Tourism Sault Ste. Marie, if that's on the agenda to be dealt with, I'm on that committee and I feel I have a conflict.
Or Queen Street Cruise.
Oh, for the Queen Street Cruise. Okay,
Yes.
sorry. Okay, so the Queen Street Cruise, Joe will have a conflict and will be enclosed for the Thrive portion. So at that point, Brad will move you into a waiting room.
Thank you.
Okay, if that's everything, we'll move into new business. I will turn it back over to Alana and Travis for the tourism update.
Thanks, Beverly. So I'm just going to go through the highlights here. We'll start off with the MAT collections. So the MAT collections for March of this year were approximately $4,000 above the March 2019 collections, which is great to see. And when we look at overall Q1, we're only approximately $13,000 off the 2019 collection. So definitely headed in the right direction, and hopeful that we can continue to exceed the 2019 collections throughout the remainder of the year. We do have at this point, as of April 30th, approximately $1.3 million in Tourism Sault Ste. Marie's bank account. We have a total revenue of $234,000. That includes Q1 MAT transfer of $204,000, as well as just under $30,000 of visitor guide sales, so revenue from the visitor guide sales. Moving on to the tour train, we had an in-person meeting between the mayor, Malcolm, the CAO, and Tom Bear and myself with Watco staff this week on Tuesday. It was a really good meeting. I have to acknowledge Watco for their transparency and openness and willing to really share their plans with us. It's, a breath of fresh air after dealing with CN. Again, they've committed for the season from August 1st to October 10th. The ticket prices right now are $135 for adults and $67.50 for seniors. Ticket sales officially went live on Wednesday, and we've dealt with internally with staff. And again, kudos to Tara. We've reserved roughly 5,000 seats for group tours. That was prior to ticket sales being open and prior to pricing being identified. So certainly hoping to grow the number of group tour sales. And now we'll start seeing the independent travelers start booking. So, I think overall after, roughly 2 years of no to very limited operations, we've got some work to people that the tour train is available and operational, and I suspect we'll see some strong growth in ticket sales shortly. On to the tour boat. We can confirm that the tour boat is in transit and is making its way up to Sault Ste. Marie. We've also got Mr. Mike Nanny reviewing the tour boat agreement, and we're hoping to get that back in front of Sulak Tours lawyer potentially by the end of this week. So things seem to be moving along there. Lastly, just with respect to the mountain biking, we did make it to stage 2 of the NOHFC agreement. We've got a resolution later on in the agenda. It's a requirement of NOHFC for a commitment to cover cost overruns. That's a standard component of any application with NOHFC, and we can discuss that further later on in the agenda. We've also received bids for the next phase of trail construction, and we're just undertaking the review process there. Hoping, if all goes well, we're hoping to come back to the June meeting with a recommendation to the board with respect to a contractor. And I'll pass it over to Alana for a couple more items.
Sure. Just want to share that Tourism Week is coming up at the end of the May, starting May 29th to June 4th. The theme this year from TIAC, which is the Travel Industry Association of Canada, is travel now for work, life, and play, and they're trying to inspire folks to get back out and start traveling again. Further to our conversation at the board level last month, we have put together a program to try and help with supporting your frontline staff with learning a little bit more about what's happening in Sault Ste. Marie relative to our attractions and activities. So more information will be coming out shortly. Tara and I are just firming up the details, but we are going to be hosting during that week free entry into our 4 cultural attractions for all frontline staff. That would be any folks who are affiliated with the attractions themselves, restaurants, hotels, or anybody working in the hospitality and tourism sector will have a chance to go and visit the art gallery, the Sault Ste. Marie Museum, Canadian Bush Plain Heritage Center, and the Irvington-Clerc National Historic Site free of charge during that week to familiarize themselves with the sites and what they can offer to incoming guests. Also during that week, we will be hosting through our office a series of 3 webinars introducing tour guides, attractions, different things that people can see and do in the community in a series of 3 different days. And those will be open to anybody that is available to log in to watch live in time. But furthermore, they'll be recorded and there'll be a tool and a resource available to all of our folks in the hospitality and tourism sector to use as you're onboarding new staff to familiarize them with what we have. I think a lot of folks don't realize all of the great things that we are offering in our community. So it'll talk about festivals and events and where to go for ice cream and all of the fun things that people can see and do. So over those 3 days, we'll have a series of webinars and links will be sent out to everybody. They'll be open to anybody that wants to join in and recorded for future use. Just also wanted to share that next week we do have staff headed to Toronto to attend Rendezvous Canada, which is an international media marketplace connecting buyers and sellers on the international market for group tours and media. Currently, we're sitting at 70 appointments with tour operators and incoming media looking to cover activities in Ontario. So we will have staff attending and we'll be providing a report back probably the next board meeting on how those appointments went and if there's any leads generated from RBC this year. Any questions on either of those 2 points or anything that Travis shared?
Can I just ask a question about the brochures? Where are we at with the distribution of that?
We have our visitor guide in hand. I don't know if anybody could see it, but it looks phenomenal. Tara will be beginning distribution tomorrow. So guides and the new maps will be out in circulation, dropped off at all of the hotels and attractions starting tomorrow.
Awesome.
Beverly, there's one other item I forgot because it's through my other role as community development, but I would like to add, so through community development, I have an individual called a labor force development coordinator that reports to me. They work to fill high skilled positions throughout the community. We've been in discussion with, had some outreach with respect to Ukrainian refugees in the hospitality sector. So we began some discussions with a few locations, and there's been a really strong interest from local hotels, some of which were aware of that prior to our involvement. But through the course of those conversations, it's become aware to us that there's a really strong need for individuals in the hospitality sector. Apparently a number of hotels are dealing with shortfalls in terms of temporary part-time employees as well as full-time employees. So we are working right now with Sioux College and others to potentially pull together a job fair specific to the hospitality sector. If individuals on this call have labor needs, please feel free to email me. It's good for us to get a good understanding of what the needs are from all the hoteliers. And for those that are interested, I can keep you informed once we square up the details on the potential job fair.
Excellent. Thanks, Travis. Just a couple of things. I just want to clarify the prices on the train tickets, Travis. I think it's $135 for adults and $100 for seniors. And then the kids are the $67.50 under 12.
Oh, yeah, correct. Sorry. My bad.
That's okay. And when Tara delivers the visitor guides, is it possible to get some of the new maps as well?
Yeah, they'll be delivered together. So maps and guides will be coming together.
Perfect. Excellent. Did anyone else have questions for Tara, Travis, or Alana at this time on the update? Awesome. Thanks, guys. I guess we covered the frontline training staff in there as well. Travis, was there anything else you wanted to say on the NOHFC funding right now or later?
I can speak to it now, if you like. I noticed Nick had his hand up. So Nick, I don't know if you had...
Just really quick, so I don't forget to email you, Travis. I need help with employees. And I actually went to the Sioux College Year 2 Design Graduate Show and basically just started handing out my business card to everybody that needed jobs. So a job fair, book me in. I will be at it. And if it can happen sooner than later, that would be great.
Excellent. Yeah, we're hoping to pull it together hopefully the first half of June. So perfect. So Beverly, just quickly, as mentioned, with respect to NOHFC, as part of our phase 2 application, they have requested that we provide a resolution from the board. And I could read the one that we've got, but essentially what they're requesting is a resolution from the board committing to cover any cost overruns beyond the amount that they would provide. As mentioned, this is standard for all applications. And I know Richard himself has had this experience with respect to the bush plane, but I'll read the resolution that they're requesting. They actually gave us some of the language here, and then I'll open it up for questions. So the way that we've structured the first half, obviously, is be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie Board of Directors authorize an application to the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation, NOHFC Community Enhancement Program, Enhance Your Community Stream, for the project titled Sault Ste. Marie Multi-Use Trail Expansion Project. Further, be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie Board of Directors commit $300,000 to the project to support the funding request of $600,000 from NOHFC, and that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie assume responsibility for cost overruns. So that is the wording that NOHFC is looking for in a resolution. And as mentioned, it's standard form. We're just looking for a commitment from the board to authorize that resolution. I'll open it up to any questions at this point.
Travis, for clarification, that's a fairly standard ask on these types of grants and funding, is that, you know, you can't go back to them afterwards and go, oh, gee, you know, what we asked for wasn't quite enough.
That's correct. Yeah, and that's what they're from their side looking to cover.
Okay, and it's between us and the city that sort of, so who has that accountability of monitoring where the project's at and what the costs are at?
So it'd be city staff through the management agreement that would be monitoring, you know, the overall project and expenditures for that. So, you know, I think what we would do is, with respect to any contract, is we would maintain a portion in reserve as a contingency, but monitor the contract diligently to ensure that we stay within budget, but, you know, obviously keep that some funds in reserve.
Okay, and just as a final point, I'm assuming that because the city is also putting funding towards this, that there would be accountability and ownership on them as well, that they're not going to want to run over, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So we would monitor that in-house with the city. I think there's other avenues there. We are applying through Tourism Sault Ste. Marie, which is why they're requesting the resolution be under the name of Tourism Sault Ste. Marie.
Okay, thanks. Does anyone else have questions with regards to or concerns with regards to the wording of the resolution?
I have a question.
Thanks, Joe. Go ahead.
Yeah, Travis, refresh my memory here. Do we have a commitment contractually with the contractor who's did the work on phase one, so to speak, for a fixed amount yet?
Joe, we do not have a contract that will be transferred over for this new phase of work. Because of the dollar value of this new phase of work, we went out to tender. We weren't able to continue that contract, both because it was with the EDC, and now we've got a different entity that would be involved, plus the dollar value wouldn't allow us to sole source that contract.
Well, here's my question. You've applied for funding for this project. We don't have a contract. I guess when you go out for tender, based upon what the tenders come in at, and you don't have sufficient funding, can you withdraw the application?
Absolutely. Right now, with respect to the tender that we've done, we have not factored in the funds from NOHFC at this point.
No, but excuse me, we don't have a contract with any contractor. I guess you have a budget amount potentially for this project. Is that fair?
That's fair.
And so you apply based upon your anticipated budget figure that you anticipate will be within the range, so to speak. And if you go for tender, if you get approval and you go for tenders and the tender prices are significantly greater than we can match, so to speak,
yeah,
you don't have to take the money. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's correct. We either reduce the scope of work that the contractor is suggesting, or you know, we would roll down the amount of funding from NOHFC.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll go ahead and do the resolution now, if that's okay, Travis, just while it's fresh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so just to reiterate the wording that Travis just had, be it resolved that the Tourism Sault Ste. Marie Board of Directors authorize an application to the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation Community Enhancement Program, Enhance Your Community Stream, for the project titled Sault Ste. Marie Multi-Use Trail Expansion Project. Further be it resolved that the Tourism Sault Ste. Marie Board of Directors commit $300,000 to the project to support the funding request of $600,000 from NOHFC, and the Tourism Sault Ste. Marie assume responsibility for costs overrun. Do I have a mover for this resolution? Kelly? Seconder, Lawrence? And if I could call for a vote on it, all in favor? Ilia's, okay, Kelly, okay. So all in favor, motion carried. Excellent. Okay, moving on, we're gonna move into closed for the next item under the tourism development funds. So if I could call for a mover on resolve that this committee proceed into closed session to discuss matters concerning confidential third-party information. Further be resolved that should this said closed session be adjourned, the committee may reconvene in open session to continue to discuss the same matter without the need for a further authorizing resolution. Municipal Act Section 239-2I, a trade secret or scientific, technical, commercial, financial, or labor relations information supplied in confidence to the municipality or local board, which, if disclosed, could reasonably be expected to prejudice significantly the competitive position or interfere significantly with the contractual or other negotiations of a person, group of persons, or organization. Do I have a mover to go into closed? Richard, and a seconder, Lawrence? Okay,